There we go. We are now recording officially as well. Life is good. Hey, everybody. Ken Krell here. Thrilled to have you with us. It is the middle of the night here in Sydney, Australia. I mean, exactly the middle of the night at 12 midnight. But it is earlier in the day in the other side of the world, in the great city, the city of lights, isn't it? The city of,
Yeah.
city of Paris. I'm so thrilled to have Helena with us. And Helena Hansen is originally from Sweden, but now a French resident. She has been editing and reading and become a literary coach for over the past 15 years, 16 years now, from what I count on the information that I have here in my hand. And today she's going to share with you about how all that can go together and how you can put love into your writing and love into your communications. And I couldn't be more excited to have with us today, tonight, this morning, good evening, whatever time you are, Helena Hansen.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here.
Lucky you.
Yeah, lucky me. And I'm thrilled to be here and I hope you will understand my English because normally I speak French all the days and Swedish, of course.
Well, your English is great, and for me, it's a thrill to be having someone in France, because French is my second, next to English, is my second favorite language. So I'm absolutely thrilled. That's why I keep coming back to you, like, oui, merci,
Yeah.
we have to do this in English, but I hear you great. You're awesome. So I'll let you go right ahead.
Yeah, so I'm here today to talk about my love for literature and how it can make you become an excellent writer. And I brought, you can say that I brought my love for literature into my own business. And as you said, I'm a writer's coach, I'm a publisher's reader, I'm an editor. Sometimes I work as a ghost writer, and then it's a little bit more like a secret. It's not my name on the cover of the book, but it's me who has written it. And but I feel every day when I go to my office, or well, my home office. I have an office at home, and I feel this great love for what I'm doing. And I think if you love what you do, and if you're doing what you love, you get more successful and you get more love into your life. And I hope I bring a lot of love to my customers, the writers I'm working with, because I'm working with not only established writers, I'm working with aspiring writers. And I have some advice for you how to become an excellent writer. And my first advice is to just do it, because everybody can write. Uh, Even if you have doubts, I think you can do it, and you can learn how to write. And the more you write, the better you get. And that is the clue to do it. They say that in Sweden, every third person wants to write a book. And I think, I don't know how the figures are in other countries, but I think it might be the same. Lots of people, they want to write a book. And I say it's possible. Maybe you want to write a collection of short stories. That's a good beginning. Or maybe you want to write your novel, or why not a non-fiction book? Because that can be your personal business card. If you write about a topic that you're specialized in, that is great. You bring more love into your business, you get to love what you do, and the customers will love to read your book. So that's my advice, to write. And you can learn how to write in many ways. You can go to, for example, you can take classes in creative writing. Sometimes I organize actually workshops in Paris in creative writing. And as you said in the beginning, I don't know if the other heard that, but I live in Paris, the city of love, or the city of lights, but usually call it the city of love because, especially if you love literature, it's an amazing city. You can go to all those cafes where, for example, Hemingway, Scott Fitzgerald, the Beat Generation, where they sat and created their work, and you feel the ambience of love, the love of literature, and that's just amazing. And so I brought this love into my business, and I also taken a Master of Arts in creative writing from Lund University. It's in the south of Sweden. But the most difficult thing I've done is to learn French, because when I moved to France, I couldn't speak much French. Of course, I've studied French in college, but you know, when you come to France, it's not the same way people do speak. And so I took a lot of classes and courses in the French language, and then I can enter the master program in literature. And it was, well, it was a challenge, but I made it, and I made it with good grades. And I think that's thanks to my love of literature. And doing what you love, it makes you can be more, you put more love in what you do, and it becomes so much more easier to do what you love. And so don't give up. It's the same thing with writing. Don't give up. Some people, they say it's 10% inspiration and 90% transpiration. And I think that might be right, because some days maybe you sit before in front of your computer and you feel you don't get nothing written, but at the same time you think about your text, and you work it, you develop your text inside your head. And some days maybe you write a lot of pages. So my advice is to just do it, sit in front of the computer and write. And my second advice is to read a lot, because when you're reading books, one can say you can read books in, of course, many ways, but I would say there are two main ways of reading a book. It's reading it like a reader. You get fascinated by the story, the characters, and so on. But you can also read it like an author, and you can study how the other writer has done when creating the book. For example, you can take a look at story structure. It's a very important component. Maybe one doesn't think about that when writing. And you can take a look about how the characters are developed, how they are created, because a character, there needs to be a development. A character should not be the same in the beginning of the story as in the end. And you can also take a look at the setting, the detail, the style, and that can make you find your own literary voice. And I think it's amazing reading books. So the next time when you read a book, I recommend you to read it like a writer, and read your favorite book again and see how the writer has done. And maybe you say, oh, it's so hard to write a book, it takes so long time, but you can write a book in many ways. And for example, like Stephen King, he says at least that he's a organical kind of writer, That means he doesn't plan anything. He's just writing his stories. But he's also, he has a lot of experience too, so that comes into the picture. But you have, for example, Larry Brooks, who has written the excellent book Story Engineering. And there you can learn from handbooks in writing, and he is focusing on structure, on characters, and everything you need. So you have to feel for yourself which is the best way for you to write, because there are so many ways, but don't forget to read. And my third advice is to letting other people read what you've written, because it can be lonely. It can be lonely sitting at your home office or at a cafe writing, and you feel this, you're a bit alone. And I think you will feel the text gets also more alive. It's become a real story when you let somebody else reading it. So that's my third advice. And it's very good to let's say, friends and family read your text, but you can also contact a writer's coach. And maybe you wonder, what is a writer's coach doing? And me, when I'm working with customers or clients or writers or people who want to become writers, we set up deadlines, they send in text. I look at a lot of components like story, structure, characters, setting, details, language, and not at least the thing to show, not tell. That is very important, because you have to work with pictures, or you don't have to, but the book gets more interesting, if you ask me, if the reader can see pictures in front of him or her when he or she is reading the book. And that's something that is very, very important. And I'm reading text mostly in Swedish, but also in English and in French, of course. And that is my advice, to let your text out of of your computer and sending it to a professional writer's coach. And I don't know if I should talk about my gift to you who are listening, because I'm offering you, because I'm so happy to be here. I'm thrilled to be here talking, and I think it's great, and I want to encourage everybody to write their story, because I think everybody has a story inside of them that needs to get out, to be read. And so you can contact me and you will get 1.5 hours of free online writing coaching. And I will also get feedback, give you feedback on 1,000 words. And there's a link. We will put it on the side, on the page after, so you can subscribe to my newsletter. But you can also contact me through the contact form on my web page. And I will be happy to help you, because I feel this passion, and I hope you feel passion for literature and writing too, because that is all my life is circling around literature and writing, and that is my passion. I think it's as yes, passionate to help other people to write and develop their text, to refine their text as when I'm writing myself. And so I think I've chosen a great job, and I fulfilled my dream. And I think maybe of you who are listening, you have this dream of writing a book, and I say it's possible.
I'd say it's possible too, with someone like you, Helena, as a coach. That's fantastic. And I'm grateful for your being here. I do want to jump in for the moment and clarify something for everyone watching, because Helena is speaking with massive heart, but I don't think she recognized exactly what she just gave away. And so I'm going to put a limiter on it to protect her, because she is no way in the world that she can manage the bandwidth of all these people coming in for a 90-minute session with her complimentary. That is above and beyond and crazy. So crazy love. She's in Paris. She's overwhelmed by love today. So I'm going to say that it will be limited to the first few people that actually come on board to enroll with her in that incredible offer. And so when you see on her website that it's, oops, sorry, but maybe she has something else for you instead that she can scale, that'll be where we are. So it's a first mover kind of thing, but I've got to protect you, because
Thank you.
I've seen this happen before. And the last thing I want you to do is go, oh no, I really didn't mean to do that. So yeah, anything that when we do talk about giving away a gift, the last thing I want anyone to do is create a challenge for themselves where there's no limitation. And so yeah, I just wanted to jump in. I was like, oh no, she didn't do that. Because I'm like, I'm signing up right now. I want that sucker right now.
Yeah, you can do that.
Right. So before we go ahead and change that on the page, whoever's watching us right now, get in there right now and do it, because otherwise it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Because I
And it
left.
doesn't mean, for me, it doesn't mean you have to book your time just now. We can planify it for maybe people can send in text in some month, because to be honest, I'm a kind of popular publishers reader and a writer's coach. So I have a lot of job and I have a lot of text to read. So I'm very thankful.
That's my point. We can't have
Yeah,
you.
that you are
Right. We can't
helping
have
me
that.
to.
So what I'll recommend is this. And because we're producing it, we can jump in and we can kind of help make those rules. So I'm going to encourage Helena to, when we finish the interview today and we finish her session, she'll scale it to the point where, and this is a lesson for everybody. I teach this in our Pride program, which stands for Produce Ridiculously Irresistible Digital Events. It's to make sure that what you do offer, you don't get yourself in trouble for. So, and
No.
when I say in trouble is like, oh mush, I promised too much, because we want to give. I mean, that's the whole idea. It's really sharing your love.
Yeah.
But if we overshare it, then we create a nightmare for ourselves. And by the way, this event is a perfect example, because what was right, Zor? It's a totally perfect example of oversharing and overhelping. I did not really intend to do a 24/7, oh my gosh, 300 speaker kind of an event. And so it came from here, from wanting to help Zor help his folks in his family and his village in South Sudan. So I'll
Yeah.
recommend that what you do is you have a redeem by date, and you see that with any kind of contest or free gift anyway from other people. So that's totally okay. So let them redeem by a certain date, then you'll deliver it within a certain time frame. So there's an expectation, and limit it to say the first 10, 20, 30, 400, whatever you want to use, because you never know, especially when our VIPs get lifetime access to this recording. They can look at it next year and go, oh, I want that,
Yeah.
right? So we have to make sure we protect you, because you're editing from the heart and you're always busy. So I don't think you're recognizing that, this could be, oh my goodness, what you've given, what you've
Yes,
offered,
I'm aware of that.
right? What you've offered is so incredibly generous that I just want to make sure that you don't like, what did I do? So as you guys watch, understand something. This is a limited offer, and a first come, first serve. So I can protect this natural beauty here of a human that is helping change the world by editing and crafting literature for her clients that can truly make a gigantic difference and shift people's experience from where they are right now to where they can be, all because of the way words and stories appear in print. And that is an incredible gift that you have.
Thank you. Because I want to spread the love, my love for literature, and I want to, how do you say, encourage people to write.
Sure. So let me ask you a question. If I was going to be an aspiring writer, and I guess to some degree I am, I've already got a couple books that are out already and I've self-published. But if
Yeah.
I wanted to do the kind of stuff that you're doing, not coaching people, but I wanted to be like when you're clients, first of all, what type of writing do you work with? Are you fiction, nonfiction? Does it make a difference?
No, I'm working with both.
Interesting.
And yeah, but there are some other kind of things you look at or analyze if you're working with a non-fiction book. You're working, it's a lot about structure, it's the title, it's the language. You should be kind of teaching something that is easy for the audience, for the reader to understand, to not to some people they want to complicate the language because, but I think you should make it simple.
Yes. Oh,
And
yes.
that can be the hard part. um to some people, to readers, they will understand and they will get more out of the book. And yeah, so there are some other things I analyze when it comes to nonfiction books because it's two different types of writing. Maybe it's not so much show, not tell, because you're not writing a story, but at the same time, it's a kind of storytelling. So, but there are two different kind of approaches, you can say.
As a nonfiction writer, and that's kind of my domain, I absolutely agree with you that the power of story is still critical because people remember the story. So if
Yeah,
we're going to talk about whatever the topic may be, training a dog, then telling the
yeah,
story about how Billy trained, Biffy the dog or whatever, and
yeah,
first he did this and first he did that, and then and then I taught him this one little thing, and oh my god, that people remember, right? So
right.
it's really important to do that. And then, as you said, very important distinction for every one of us is to remember, number one, who your audience is. If it's a scientific journal,
Exactly.
right? If it's a scientific journal, you can talk in that very high language. But if you're talking to common people like us, then talk in natural language. Don't try to impress us with big words because that you lose the audience there. And
Yeah,
it's funny, as a writer, I'm a writer, but I'm more of a copywriter. And when you write copy to convert, to get people to take action, you got to write it at like the fourth, fifth, sixth grade level so people
yeah,
can read it. Using big words that say you're a genius doesn't get you the audience. So,
no. And
right?
that is, I would say, it's very important too in non-fiction or in fictional, sorry, in fictional books to know who your audience is. Because if you're writing a fantasy book, it's not the same people who wants to read a thriller or a romance story. You need to limit your audience because that's a common mistake. You think, oh, I'm writing for everybody, but it's so hard to englobe all people in an audience. You have to know who your audience, who you want to write to or write for, and adapt your language, of course, after your audience, even in fictional books.
It's funny, so funny that you're mentioning that because as a marketing guy, we talk about the right fit audience and knowing who your customer avatar is and eliminating those, it's like Michelangelo and that slab of marble. How did he find David? He took out what wasn't, right? And you're talking about writing to the correct audience or choosing your audience and writing to them. It's interesting. I don't think people connect that writing is the same thing. It's knowing, Stephen King, knowing who his reader is, to be able to write towards that person, whoever that market is. I don't even know who that market is for Stephen King, how you would describe their reader. But that's amazing. And I don't know that people recognize that it goes so far into everything that we do, is getting real specific to knowing your customer, knowing your client, and serving.
Exactly.
Imagine, well, it's really interesting knowing your client. So you go to a concert, right? And when the artist wants to play new music, we in the audience don't want new music. We still want Goodbye Yellow Brick Road at an Elton John concert. We don't want the new stuff. The hell with that. We still want, blah, blah, blah. And Elton John's probably so tired. He wants to have that road be torn up, but Yellow Brick Road has made him a lot of money, so as a writer, same kind of idea. So what kind of books excite you the most?
What kind of books? I will say I'm not specialized in any type of genre, or how you pronounce it in English.
Genre is correct.
Genre.
I like it with the genre. Très bien, it's fantastic.
Ouais, c'est très bien, c'est comme ça.
Merci. So I get excited about that. That's just one of those
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love working with all kind of books, because I think it's the same kind of craftsmanship. Because I think what's important to think about too is that you can learn how to write, because some people think it's only inspirational, it's only genius who can write a book, but this is something you can learn how to do. And of course, if you read a feel-good book, there's certain expectations from the reader. There should, for example, always be a happy ending. If you are writing a criminal story, you want to know who the killer is, or yeah, because if you are not writing like a, I don't know, trilogy or something, but there is something that's important in every type of book.
Helena,
And
sorry.
Go ahead, Zora.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask. I love your presentation. It's awesome. I was gonna ask, when you're writing a book or when you're writing whatever, are you a type of writer that normally start with outline and follow the outline, or are you the person that just go with the creativity of the story?
And as you answer that, understand we have less than 30 seconds left. So before we have to go to our next guest. So
yeah, I will make a quick answer. I'm planifying, because mostly I'm writing for other people, so it's what they want to write that I'm focusing on. So they need to know what I should write as a ghostwriter, for example. But you can do both. It's when you're writing a book yourself, you do what feels the best for you, because there is no right or wrong in writing a book, I think, or the way you write a book, but there are components you need to think about.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So unfortunately we've got to end our stream right over here. We have another stream coming up in just another second here, actually right now. So yeah. Helena Hansen, thank you so much for being with us today. I love you. You're awesome.
Yeah, lots of love you from Paris, and to you all. And thank you for letting me speaking here today.
It's been an honor to have you. It's been an honor to have you. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Au revoir.
I stand for love. Do you?
Hey, this is Captain Lou, and I stand for love, baby. Do you?
Do you? Do you?
Do you? Yes. Do you? Do you?
Do you?
Do you? Do you?
recording, and we're just waiting for everything to load. In 1 second here, we are now live on Facebook. Yay, hello, Facebook. Waiting for YouTube to finish doing its wonderful thing. And we'll let that populate on its own. So let me go and say to everybody, yay, welcome. We have an incredible, delightful, and delicious guest today, the incredible Catherine Lobb. Now, Catherine, let me get her bio up here, her intro, so I can present her to you in the best possible way. And let's see here. I had it up a second ago. You know I did because I told you I did.
Yep.
Let's go get it. Yep. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've been talking behind the scenes over here, and I'm really excited to bring her on because she's very, very cool. Catherine Lobb hosts the Celestial Spoon podcast. She's an award-winning inspirational author, a speaker for stress reduction, a psychic, and a spiritual guide. And yeah, she's told me some things that she's done. It's pretty cool. She helps people feel better with her positive outlook, describing her own battles and winning her battle with deep depression. She's an advocate for mental illness through her campaign, Brighten Your Day with Turquoise, hence the color, because turquoise is a calming color. I didn't know that. She guides others through her spiritual skills to feel invigorated and empowered to go forward in their own struggles. Catherine psychically delivers information to people from the spiritual realm, their guides and angels that benefit them greatly with their lives. I am so excited because I want to jump in and find out exactly. I may even be afraid to find out what the guides are saying about me. Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible, outrageous Catherine Lobb. Woohoo!
Oh, thank you. Hello, Ken. It's great to be here. Thank you so much. And I'm excited because this whole storyline basically that we're presenting to everybody around love is what I want to talk about, because we're all here to make a difference in the world. And I'm noticing one by one, more people are stepping up and saying, oh, I need to make a difference. So I share my own journey of where I've come from and overcome. And a lot of it has to do with my spirituality. And World Love Week is a perfect time to be sharing.
Yeah, it's a special week, and today, of course, is a special day. So I'm thrilled to pieces that you're here. So let's talk a little bit about what you've been doing and the message you have for everybody today. We have a bunch of time available until the incredible Pam Heath joins us next. So let's rock and roll.
Okay, so basically, I thought my life had to do with being a wife and a mother, raising children. But once my children were out of the house and it was just myself and my husband, of course, 2 little dogs, we began fighting a lot. And I started noticing that I wasn't happy all the time. Actually, it started when my last daughter was still in the house, and I became suicidal very often. And I never made any attempts until 2003. 2003, I was fighting with my husband in our workplace. We had a little factory, and it had to do with one of the employees where I felt like I was one of the employees in a peon where we were partners, and the man controlled everything. So that began my journey of insecurity because I now felt like I was squashed down. So during a fight at home, I tried taking pills. I got a whole bunch of them down. My husband held me down for a whole hour, and he couldn't believe how strong I was because the driving me to leave this planet was so strong. It was no longer me. I felt like it was the devil really pushing his way, saying, you need to come with me. Well, after an hour of holding me down, I said to him, well, you need to let go of me sooner or later so I could go to the bathroom. And with that, he called 911, and they came and they took me to the hospital. And it was then that I learned that if you get to that point before you act, you need to reach out and say, I'm struggling and I need the help. So either reach out to a friend or a professional, or get yourself to the emergency room, and you'll find so much better things to come your way. But hold on, sorry. That wasn't the last of it. It continued. And every time my husband and I had a major fight, it was like, I can't afford to support myself. And at the time, my teenage daughter, the first time, and I felt there was a wall up and nowhere to go. So after then, we went into therapy separately and then marriage counseling, but it really didn't help. And I have to share something really graphic to let people know why I am where I am now. It's where during these marriage counseling sessions, my husband told me that I didn't turn him on because I was too fat. So for at least 15 years, we were not having sex. And that really made me insecure. So of course, every time we had a fight, that's what went through my mind. It's like, well, he's in control of my life. And I'm fighting the tears now because I have those feelings. And he died a year ago. And I feel like I'm haunted by a lot of these feelings. And it's my time to shine. And it sounds sad sharing my story and all the horrors I've been through, but I have to share it so other people know that you're not alone. And there is help for you, no matter what situation you're in, even if it's just stress because of the COVID that we're going through, the pandemic. You're worth something. And it's really time to look at your life and say, oh my God, did my husband treat me that way? Did my wife treat me that way? Or just simple everyday things that are piling up. You may be a mother and the kids are stressing you out. Or you may be an executive in a large company and you feel like there's this wall because you have all these people that you have to be responsible for and you're falling apart. So listening to what I have to say and what I've been through is very important for you to look deeply inside and understand it in yourself. Now, last year was the worst of it all. It started out nicely because Valentine's Day, my husband was already sick with cancer. He was already in hospice in the house. 2 days before Valentine's Day, he gave me an iPad because my relaxation time is on the phone doing jigsaw puzzles. So he said, this is just to do your jigsaw puzzles because I know how much you love doing them and how it helps you. And it does. That's my relaxation and that's my meditation time. Well, 2 days later, I was going to sleep like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and he would be getting up like 6 or 7. So he was laying in bed, and I laid down next to him. I put my arm around him, and he took it off of him and proceeded to get out of bed. And it's like, well, where are you going? I don't understand this. I want to cuddle with you. And I felt like he threw me away. I felt like I wanted to be next to him because he was on his way out and he wasn't letting me. So that day I became suicidal again. I got in my car and I kept on saying, how am I going to crash my car? If I do it, I have to make sure that I die because I don't want to struggle after this. I'm sorry. And I ended up going back home and I thought about just driving into the house. And I made it up until 3 feet before and I slammed on the brakes. Then I went inside and I said to him, I don't understand why you're treating me like this. What did I do? I've been taking care of you. And he just said, you don't understand. And I didn't. So I knew that he had a hand BB gun or whatever type it was, and it wasn't used yet. I went and took it, and I kept trying to figure how can I make this work? I know BBs don't kill, but maybe if I keep pointing it at my heart and just keep shooting. But I couldn't get it to work. So I was already on many antidepressants, anxiety medication, and a lot of medications for a lot of different mental illnesses. I was given an extra one because my doctors knew that he was dying any time. And I took it, not thinking anything of it. And I kept on taking it. That same night, I passed out, and my daughter found me on the floor, half naked, coming out of the bathroom. And I said, I don't know what happened. She got me to bed, and I don't remember the rest of that day. The next night, I passed out again, and I got stuck in the bathroom, and I couldn't get myself up. My stepdaughter was there at the time. She's a nurse, and she was helping care for Tony. And I kept screaming, help me, help me. And then finally, after hours, she opened the door. She couldn't unstick me, so she had to call the fire department. Fire department came, they got me out, and I said to them, I'm very suicidal and I need to go to the hospital. And that's what I tell everybody. You need to reach out. You need to go when you're feeling like that. I'm so sorry, but it feels like it was just yesterday. I was in the hospital for 3 days, which I had been in the same one 3 times before. And I begged them on the 3rd day, I said, I have to go home. My husband's going to die tonight. I know it. I'm being a psychic. I already said 2 years before he died, I said, Tony's going to die next year. I just knew it. Just like I knew the day my mother was going to die and my father was going to die which year. So they communicated with my son, who was the contact person, and he promised that if I went home that he would watch over me and take care of me. So I don't even remember all of those days. And I was told that I was nasty. I kept passing out. I was delusional. I was just totally out of it. The only thing that I do remember is on the 24th of February, I got to kneel down next to Tony. He was in a recliner chair, and he said to me, Kathy, there's something wrong. I said, I know, it's time. But then there was a policeman at the house because I was out of hand, which I don't remember. And the policeman took me away from Tony. That's the last time I saw him. He died the next morning in hospice. One ambulance took him to hospice, and another one took me to the emergency room because I said to my son, I need to find out what's wrong with me. Why is this happening? Why can't I remember? I'm hallucinating. In the morning, a social worker was with me, and I felt a hand on my shoulder. And I turned, it was my daughter and my other 2 kids. I said, is he alive? And they said, no, he's gone. And I couldn't be with him because of what was going on. A few days later, I felt better. And then my son and I were analyzing it. And we realized it was the medication. The anxiety medication combined with everything else caused me to be a crazy woman, is what I was told. But that's not the reason I share my story. I share my story for you. Anyone out there that has anything going on. I mean, just something as simple as grief. It's not really simple, but it's an everyday thing. Sometimes you can't get through it. a lot of these days with the COVID, people are being locked up. Some are going stir crazy and they don't know what to do. And there's so many statistics showing that last year there was so many people reporting depression than the year before, and they were blaming it on COVID. But depression and anxiety are up at the top of the list of ailments that really affect people's lives. And you can overcome. Just like I've overcome, I've realized in the last few weeks that my husband caused me to be suicidal. I'm not like that anymore. I'm not depressed anymore. My medications are being decreased because I feel fine. So it could be somebody in your life that you're reacting to. And what happened is, because I'm an empath, and anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's considered in spirituality where you absorb other people's energies. And unfortunately, it's me, it's the negative energies that I absorb. So I didn't realize for many years Tony was depressed, but I found information on his computer, little diaries that indicated he was. So the fights, every time we fought, it was his depression coming out stronger and bringing mine up stronger. And I want to read a quote because this represents me 100%. I've fallen, cried, been angry and afraid. But even when I was hurting, I always found a way to keep going. A strong woman never gives up. And that's my story. I just keep on going. And my spirituality is what gets me through everything, because I have the angels by my side. They point me in the direction I need to go. And many years ago, they told me, they kept on telling me about turquoise. And it's like, well, what do you mean about turquoise? And then I heard in different words, but brighten your day with turquoise. And as Ken said earlier, turquoise is a calming color, and it helps you think clearly and focus better. So I always wear turquoise and have turquoise around me. You could carry notes on turquoise paper, but there's many ways to incorporate it into your life. And that's my campaign, Brighten Your Day with Turquoise, because I want you all to feel better if you're struggling. And I feel nowadays like 7 out of 10 people that I talk to are really struggling and stressed and depressed. So reach out if you need help. The main thing that I help with is the spiritual direction, because my psychic skills, my abilities to connect with the beyond are what helps people get through, because I share information that they never thought that they would hear, or I guide them in a direction that my angels are saying this is good for them. So that is the best way that I've gotten through. Of course, there is the medication end of it. There's the therapist, the doctors, and you need to have a team of people around you that works with you. So that's the main thing. I want to spread love and make the world a better place, one person at a time. And we can do it. I know we can.
No, I completely agree with you. And I want to thank you for sharing. That was pretty amazing. An amazing journey. And it's interesting that you shared that, because so many people don't recognize that being, and I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but being in a toxic relationship where you're having negative energy rub off on you is not healthy at all, love or not. If that's what you're in, we need to repel negativity. If we can't cope with it, if we can't manage it, sometimes the best thing we can say is, I love you, but I want to love you from a distance, and to recognize that it's not you at all. And I can tell you, I think all of us have a journey in some way that when it gets tough, we say, this shit's got to stop. You know, I don't want to be here anymore. How do we get out of this madness? And I will tell you that I've thought about suicide a number of times over my life. And I remember I was in a yoga class doing downward dog, thinking about how can I kill myself, you know, and it was like, okay, this is stupid, Ken. And I thought it was like, and I just kind of watched from above. I was like, this is really dumb. I'm doing yoga and I'm thinking about how to, you know, but I was in pain and I wasn't loving my life. And how do I stop that? But at the end of the day, for me, it was I have far more to do. But let's face it, life is tough. Or can be tough. Let's say it that way. I don't want to say life is tough because that's the wrong affirmation. But we had Madeline on earlier, and we have some other guests coming on later on this week, where what I discovered with one of my Safari members is that teen suicide is up 8.7 times what it used to be. That's insane. That's just insane. And the basic reasoning is they don't feel they have hope. They don't see a way that there's a way out, that there's a future, which is really sad and really shameful. So what I want us to recognize is that there is the beautiful thing that you give people is a look inside, not just look inside of you, but a look inside of them with what you do on a spiritual basis and on a reading basis. And I want that out in the world. People need to have that. And you know, frankly, I'm like, what's she going to figure out about me? Which we'll talk about after this session is over. But the magic that's there is wonderful, and to celebrate that is wonderful, and to let people recognize that there is. I don't want to say that there's hope, because that sort of seems sort of, you know, yeah, there's hope, but you're not alone. You know, everybody has pain one way or the other. We all have our demons. And I remember years ago, I was doing a personal growth weekend with some people, and they were all saying to me, a couple of them were like, how would you know about us? You got your shit together. And I was like, you have no idea. You have no idea. You know, outside's great, inside's like the blender's been going on, you know? So don't let anybody else convince you that you're the problem or that you're the only one that's messed up, because everybody has a mixed master going on inside of their brain, inside of their heart, inside of their body. We all have that. Even the people with so-called perfect lives, you have no idea. None.
Yes.
You know?
I agree 100%. I've been in a lot of networking groups, and I would be keeping my face, you know, hi, how are you? And everything nice and fun and fancy. But then as soon as I left and on the way home, oh, well, I need to do this, but that's in the way. And, you know, one of my big problems that my husband didn't like was that I'm a hoarder. And so there wasn't a lot of free-flowing energy, but we fought on that very often. And I moved recently, so all of my stuff is in the garage in the basement, so I have clear energy. But I would just put on a front, and once I walk back in the front door, it's like, here it goes again.
Yep.
And I would start crying or whatever. And, you know, it's exactly like you said. Everybody at some time in their life has these thoughts. And I just want to share really fast the second time, because it was November of 2019. I was sitting across the room from Tony as we were fighting with a pair of scissors, and I just kept going over my wrist. And it just kept going over my wrist. Every time I got to that main vein, I lifted my hand and I went around it. Kept going around and around, didn't have the nerve to get into that vein. In the meantime, Tony called the police, and when they arrived, he said, she's drawing on her arm with scissors. He did not know I was trying to cut my wrist.
God.
So I want the other people that are looking into your life to pay attention also, because it could be as simple as that. You know, you think they're drawing on their arm, but they're actually trying to cut their wrist open right in front of you. You need to find what's happening with them so you could be supportive of them and help them get through whatever's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And the bottom line really is support, letting people know they're not alone. There's all sorts of sadness out there, but the other side of it is there's all sorts of opportunity. Let's take a look at Pandemic Land, for example. What we've been doing when we haven't been live, like just before you came on, we've been replaying recordings of Opportunitython, which we ran last year. And the whole idea about Opportunitython was to say, okay, we have a pandemic, people are dying, the world's going to hell. Got it. And can you control that? No, you can only control you and your own experience. So how about if we spin it and we pivot our attitude and say, what can I do in my world to take command and control of my life so that way I'm in charge? I'm not a victim anymore. I'm the captain of my ship. I'm not in the engine room. I'm the guy given the directions or the lady given the directions. Okay. And so we ran this 28.5-hour event with that whole attitude. People need to be in that state where they recognize they are in control. And if you feel you're getting out of control, yes, obviously get help. I'm one of the lucky ones. I got help many, many years ago. And I still have people I talk to when the pressure's on and so on. And I do the work, and we have to do the work. I mean, think about this. Do you like your teeth? Do you like keeping your teeth? Let's put it that way, right? Well, guess what? Then you probably brush them every day without even thinking about it. You don't brush your teeth, you don't shower, things don't go so good. So taking care of your mental state, taking care of your spiritual state, taking care of that is equally as important as doing a daily run and getting some cardio or eating healthy or simply brushing your teeth for that matter. And I know you said you put everything in the garage. I would tell you to blow up the garage. No, for real. I would tell you to blow up the garage. I mean, my mom has, I wouldn't necessarily say she's a hoarder, but she doesn't like throwing things away.
Yes.
We found in the cupboard, like, groceries that are 10 years old because they were on sale. It's like, Mom, I mean, she had me eating cookies that really were 10 years old. So see if they're any good, Ken. So I made a video. My mom tried to kill me because the chemicals in those cookies were like disastrous. And so I was like, Mom, please don't die for a while because I really don't want to have to clean out your apartment.
My kids said the same thing.
Right. So just don't do that to us. So, but here's the thing. I took a feng shui class a number of years ago. And the big thing is throw your shit away because the more space you have, the more room you have for great energy. So, and I'll tell you, I've moved a bunch of different places over the past years, and I've got things that are missing now from the last move. God knows where the hell they are, including my favorite recipe book. But who cares? At the end of the day, none of that shit really matters. So I'm going to I'll challenge you to do the dump the garage challenge and just throw that. Don't even look. Just blow it up. Like the basic question: when was the last time you ever saw it? 1971. Yeah, doesn't need to be there anymore. Yes, I have the comfort of knowing. Yeah, and get rid of it.
My problem is I can't throw it away, so I donate it.
Fine, that's fine. Donate it. That's even better. That's even better.
I'm working on it.
Okay. And I wouldn't say problem. I would say challenge or opportunity. Now, this
challenge.
Point,
Thank
donate. That's what I did with a lot of my.
Yep.
Yeah. So I would dump it, and you will find just all this energy opening up. Here I am teaching you that. Anyway, we're about to head over to our next speaker. I am thrilled that you're with us. I know you've got a couple of gifts for us, so we're going to pop those into the on the dashboard. So worldloveweek.com/dashboard, and there'll be a link to all the gifts from all of our speakers, including the amazing Catherine. I got to tell you, I'm humbled by your ability to share and the way you open yourself up to us. You amaze me. You're amazing.
I stand for love. Do you?
Hey, this is Captain Lou, and I stand for love, baby. Do you?
Do you? Do you?
Do you? Yes. Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you?
for people who don't know me, Sharyn Sheldon, Content Sparks is my company. And I used to do the corporate world also. I actually worked in investment banking for a very short period of time. And then I got into, I learned instructional design as a learning consultant. When I started my business, I still had young children at home. Actually, they weren't that young by that point. The idea in my head started when they were pretty young, around 9/11, when also things took a little bit of a downturn. Actually, it was there by the World Trade Center at the time. So it was a gradual process getting online, but I would never turn back. The one thing I look at whenever people get laid off or something goes down, I just say, well, at least I can't get fired because nobody can fire me but me.
Right, right. Right.
And I know that my business can grow so long as I work at it and I'm creative. It's up to me whether it's successful or not. So that's really been a key. So that's my whole thing is courses. And now I'm really focusing on online courses in particular because, online is everything. People, there's no choice now but to be online. And online learning, the whole online course and e-learning has been hot for a number of years now, but now in this current environment, nobody has a choice. And then the good thing about getting involved in that yourself now is that people are going to be more comfortable with it. So while it was popular before, now people don't have a choice, but in the future, they're going to just expect it and be comfortable learning online. So that's why I think that this is the sort of thing I was going to talk about a bit today, is that everyone should be building this in some way into their business, some sort of online course, whether it's to bring in new clients and new customers and start building a relationship with them, whether it's something to sell, whether it's for current customers, just to keep them happy or give them an alternative. I've got a lot of these business coaches, so I'm listening in on what they're experiencing with their clients as well, which has been terrific. So I have my ear to the ground there and I'm just responding to what they need. So I've been busier than ever. I'm working like a dog right now.
Yeah.
I've been busier than ever too, but here you've said something that basically nobody else said. And I know that no one said it, at least no one said it, or I heard it. You used the word white label, and sometimes we assume that everybody knows what something means, especially if we know what it means. So I'd like you to possibly, Sharyn, explain white label and what the opportunity is in using white label, because maybe somebody doesn't understand what that means and they're like, white label? So would you just explain what white label means and the benefits and how it can be utilized in this time of opportunity?
Oh, absolutely. So white label is something a lot of people are probably familiar with and don't realize. It's because you see it in physical products as well, where people buy, a business will buy something that's manufactured, often in China or elsewhere, that's unbranded, and then they can put their own branding on it. Sometimes they can do it to certain specifications, but in general, you're buying something generic, and then you're putting your label on it. So it's also called private label. It's called private label rights, white label. I call it brandable. With my courses, I call it ready to teach. So it comes into, people can buy white label software. So you can buy a whole software program that just you put your label and your name on and your colors, branding, whatever, and then can resell it. So you're not selling it to somebody else as white label, you're selling it to someone as a product. So with our courses, I don't actually use the term white label, but it's that concept. I call them brandable and ready to teach. So
I like that branding. It's really like a nicer quality. But then again, your stuff is nicer quality. There's the junky stuff that's written by somebody in a sweatshop in the middle of, some little village somewhere. And then there's Content Sparks. And it's, and when I like it so much, I'm a customer. I didn't buy the content.
Yes, you are.
There are times I will have bought one of your courses, And yeah, the intent would be to teach it, which rarely happens. I just stack them. I have an inventory of content sparks, that stuff. But most of it, I buy it because I'm interested in it myself. And it's something ultimately I want to teach. To me, it's the ultimate shortcut. It's a fantastic way to get you started in someplace, especially if you don't know the market. And it's just, but to me, I look at it as a shortcut, and then go in and customize it with your own personality. And
that's the key. Doing it to your audience as well.
Exactly.
So a lot of people try it to learn from it and do it themselves and then implement it. But then with our people that already know their audience and maybe know the topic, they take it as their starting point and then add their own examples and stories and maybe different language. So if one audience uses the word customer and the other uses client, they'll change that. But it's the stories and examples that you add in that make it unique. So one of the concerns that people have with buying this sort of private label, brandable courses is that it won't be unique to them. But it's you who makes it unique, how you teach something. And courses like this they exist already. There's been sales training programs, things like that on the market for years where you buy a license to teach it. And that's kind of what we do, except that you can make it your own entirely. So people will a lot of times do it as video. So we'll do slides and you just record a video talking through it, adding your own examples, your insights, your resources and stuff like that. And you're just saving a ton of time, because anytime you're starting with something that's already created and that you can just expand on, you're cutting out all that work that would take you months to do. So people want to do courses, and it could be 6 months, it could be a year. Whereas you can create it right now and do it quickly if you use something that already exists. And that, I don't mean just private label or white label brand stuff like ours, but just stuff that you already have sitting on your computer. So a lot of people have content already and not making use of it. It could even be blog posts that you've done a series of that has a step-by-step. You can pull that together into a course, into an online course, and be either using it to bring in some new leads, because a lot of that now, if you don't have an audience, you need to be building one.
And I just want, because you're about to go off onto the next thing. And no. And I think, and I love what you're doing, because what you're actually doing is you highlighted, white label, private label, and basically for everybody to just really get it, you go to the store, you buy Duncan Hines box, and you decide you want to add butter, more butter, or your special butter, or your vegan butter. So you want to make the cake then vegan, right? It's your choice, but you use the box because nobody really wants to make the cake from scratch unless they're like, I don't know, Chef Boyardee. So, and what you said, which was very important, is that maybe in this short period of time, you have less time, but you want to be able to produce a product. So maybe using a white label or a private label or a PLR is something that you can use to maybe leave this time frame where we're on our staycation to do that. Now, you also gave, which I think is awesome, Sharyn, you also gave the option like, hey, you might have already products of work that you've already done and you could repurpose them. But I didn't want you to go down that rabbit hole before really highlighting the fact that the highlight in using maybe a private label or white label or whatever we want to call it, box of Dunkin' Donuts, Duncan Hines, whatever it is. Notice everything reverts back to a donut. Like the guy had the donuts.
You're studying to be a police officer now. You're channeling.
I am channeling. So I am single. So maybe if I call 911, they'll send a cute one by. so anyway.
No, anything where you can use something that's already there, any way to speed things up, whether it's doing it using less. So if you want to teach something, you take something like a private label rights content courses and then just get it up there quickly by using the minimal amount. So I'm very into doing minimum viable course, minimum viable product to just get it up there quickly. And then you learn more as soon as you're up there. The problem is when it's just sitting there and you never use it, or you don't try something, then you won't know what's going to work and what isn't going to work. So I'll tell people with their courses, just grab the slides and get up there and teach it to a few people. And you'll start to get feedback and see what's working, and you'll be learning about your audience and then able to improve the next time. So it's like the always learning. Like I guess Shannon said that as well, but I'm a learnaholic as well, but you always have to be learning and learning about your audience and learning about your market and listening to them. So you just have to get it up there so that you can do the learning and you can start getting feedback and improving all the time. And having something like that private label rights, that brandable product to start with, just speeds it all up, because you do have something and you don't have to be spending months. Because you could spend months creating something and then find out that it falls flat. It isn't really what people need.
That's perfect. When we talk about product creation, I've been teaching this for years. I call it the PSC method: plan it, sell it, create it. And that you don't have to do anything, because I've seen people that have spent months, if not, I've one friend of mine who spent a year creating this course and could never sell it. So she had all the time, energy, effort in there, doing videos, doing this, doing that. I mean, it was just all she could do is create this course. And by that time, the market had moved. Her marketing wasn't current, and effectively she had something that people really didn't want. At least, certainly, she didn't create the desire for it. You do something such as a Content Sparks course or whatever, and you have it available for sale immediately, or what the hell, you're spending no more than like $300 on it, and bam, you're done. And it's like, it's really simple. So plan that thing out, put out an offer, see if somebody buys into it, and then go ahead and create it. And and you can deploy so quickly, because again, and I sound like I'm doing advertising for Sharyn here, but effectively, I've spent a lot of money with Sharyn. I can probably put her kids through college again with, it's not
in the States, you can't.
But, right. I was thinking about, never mind. But it's great to have that. You can deploy, shut up. You can deploy that. Leave me alone. You can deploy that. I'm trying the best I can. You can deploy it really quickly. And Sharyn's right. You can use parts of it, not even all of it, any way you want. So running in there, I change the branding all the time. I may not have the inside very much, but the wrapper gets changed. It's sort of like buying a can of peas at the Safeway. It may be the same can of peas that, well, hang on, it's the same can of peas that's sold at Safeway versus Publix versus, Tom Thumb. It's that other company that's doing that, and they just pop a label on it. We want you, at least in terms of my use of this, I don't want you just to slap it on. It's what a lot of lazy people do. They slap their thing on it and they don't even buy the good stuff. They'll buy the junk stuff for $17. And it was written by not someone whose English is a primary language. It's written by someone that's just not the same. And you can read the sentence structure. It wasn't written in the States, or in a Western country.
There's no point doing something like that. You're just wasting your time. And the real key is understanding your audience first. So that's something that I'm always telling people: just get clear on who your audience is before you even decide what you're going to teach, because otherwise you won't know what they need. And you can test things out, use private label stuff to get something up quickly, and that way you'll understand your audience better. But you have to define that audience and understand them. And then what's really big now that people are doing, and that we started creating as part of our courses, is challenges. So we'll take one part, because a lot of our big packages come with some sort of lead magnet, and then we have student materials for the text-based stuff, and then instructor materials with slides and whatnot. But we'll take that lead magnet and make it into a challenge version, and people are loving that, because you give your leads quick wins. They get a taste of it by getting the quick wins, a taste of what you can offer. And then they're interested in getting the full course. You already
Yeah.
have people who know you, the know, like, trust, which we hear over and over,
Mhm.
but they know your style. They know what they can get out of it. They know that they can be successful because you've helped them do some success already. And that's why I love any kind of online courses. Of course, you do need to give them support. So that community aspect that Shannon mentioned as well, I think, is a key part now more than ever. So whereas people used to, with these courses, just do an ebook with maybe some email follow-ups, I don't think that cuts it anymore. You can't do that. And it's really hard to get results. Maybe someone who's really, really, really super motivated might be successful with an ebook or a bunch of videos. But most people need more than that. They need some support, like the community support. And that doesn't have to be all your time. That's why the online courses and the community can scale so beautifully, because you get the power of the group and people helping each other. And it takes a little time to build. But like I said before, until you start, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's having that ability to deploy quickly without having to have that expertise yourself makes it really simple. And it's nice because, again, the product, the whole piece ultimately is completely brandable. The wisdom in terms of the way you've branded it yourself is not, you don't sell white label, you don't sell private label rights. That's like the Chevrolet. You have ready to wear. You're on the Champs-Élysées as opposed to in a little bargain basement. But it's a better place to be, and it really does for someone like me that wants to make sure that he has solid quality for his customer. I'll start with that. But again, to me, the key word is start with.
Mm-hmm.
It's you've given me the base. And then I can add the accoutrements to make sure that this thing really works well. And I've been doing this for years in all sorts of different arenas. So, I spent $1,000 on a stock trading course. My gosh, a decade ago, made a lot of money with it. And I knew nothing about stock trading. So the person who sold it to me, my deal was, would you do a webinar with me so that way, we're delivering the content, because I can't possibly do it. And he graciously said yes, and that's what we did. And it made a few grand. So it was a great way to start. So if you're wanting to get started, if English is not your primary language or whatever, and you want a head start, it's a really, really good opportunity, really good idea. And one of the reasons, of course, why you're here is not just because of your singing prowess, but because you do know that market. It works really well. There we go. You're paying attention. That's good. So,
I see a question to it. Go ahead. Oh, shall I answer? I see a question up on screen. Challenge version. What does that mean? When I said challenge version, so say you take something like a report, all right, that has 5 steps to it. You can make that into a challenge by simply breaking it up and setting up, say, a Facebook group, inviting people to join your challenge, and you break that up into 5 days, where you give people each day 1 step to do. Give them a little worksheet to take notes, and then every day go into your Facebook group, introduce it, make sure you send out an email with the link, and go. I mean, this is just one way to do it, obviously, but I would go into your Facebook group, live stream, say, hey, today's step is this. Here's the worksheet to download. You can put it right in the Facebook group. Let's get going, get some interaction going in there as well, get people to share. So having something like that is a really useful way to start building relationships with leads. You can do it for your customers as well. So it's giving them something to work with, to keep them motivated, to keep them moving on, to keep them coming back and buying from you again. But it's basically dividing that up into really small steps that they can achieve quickly. And that's what you can do with materials you already have, so long as you have that kind of step-by-step and you break it down. And to do it as building your list, because it's always about building the email list. Email marketing is what I'm all about. So social media is just a tool to get people into your sphere where you can interact with them more easily in email. But you just have an opt-in page that invites people to join your challenge, get them to sign up, and then via your email, you'll send them the links to each thing. So that's the way it works, and you can keep it very simple that way. And StreamYard, like we're using here, is a great way to be going live every day. You can't beat the relationships that you build on something like that kind of challenge. And then you're not really selling when you're going.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great model, and people are using it in a variety of different ways. Roland Frazier, who we invoked his name a number of times, he was with us earlier in the weekend or the month that we've been together so far. Roland just completed a 5-day challenge on how to buy businesses, and he charged $55 for it. I paid it gladly because Roland's a super bright guy. And if you look at what he did module to module, it was one module. I think he was on a webinar for like an hour with everyone. Effectively, the concept that he taught was like 10 minutes. The rest of it was Q&A and and so on. I mean, it was all valuable. It wasn't like Roland just spreaded it out. It was absolutely a full call. But in terms of what content was delivered, it was really very small. Everyone loved him, and then at the end of the 5 days, he sold a $2,000 or $5,000 course and sold a lot of it. So I mean, a lot of it. So you can completely use that, not just as a lead magnet, but also as the beginning of a sales process.
Yeah.
So that they already know you, they like you, they trust you, they've seen some results. And you especially if you know what you're talking about, not just that if you're leveraging it the way that I have been doing, for example. Great way to immediately create some cash quickly. All you got to do is get them to come in to try you out and pick a sexy topic. Sharyn, you've got some great topics from again, to me that resonates for me, like persuasive selling and things of that nature. That I mean, if you're going to do sales, persuasive selling, that just completely got me excited. And it's like, let's persuade them to buy our stuff. Yeah, it comes with a magic wand and everything. So
we've been doing a lot. We've been kind of trying to react quickly right now and create stuff that people are requesting, like one we're doing now on how to create a work from home business or business growth plan, just going in and doing, figuring out exactly where you are now and where you want to be or what you need to do to move forward. So yeah, we have a huge range of different things, and a lot of them can be done group coaching, live. I mean, some point again, face-to-face, weekend stuff. Right. But yeah, right now people are loving doing these little mini challenges, which I do see people selling for, $27. You said that one was more. And then leading on from there. Because when you do there is a downside of doing the free, which is people don't necessarily do it because they haven't bought into it. Even if they're paying a little bit, they're going to be more committed and actually make a bigger attempt to do it, to get the challenge done. Or other things, I know some people are doing a pay what you, like name your price type thing. I haven't done that. I'm not big on it, but I do see people doing that successfully also. So that would work well with a challenge too,
So that was some excellent information. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that was some
a great way to.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So that was some excellent information. And Sharyn, you really enlightened everybody. How can they get in touch with you? Keep in touch with you?
So you can just come to our site, which is contentsparks.com. And there's a lot of things there. There's a free challenge as well, where we actually give people a little mini course. It's a time management one, which is fairly generic, but a way of learning how to use this brandable, ready to teach content where we step through so people can get it up online. So there is that free. And you can just email me anytime or email our support at Content Sparks, but come to the site and try that challenge as well. All right. Because I think that would be really fun for people to see exactly how it works. And we have a nice community going for that. There's also a resource. I don't know what the email is. There's a resource center for everybody that has some free downloads.
Yes, that's opportunitython.com. turquoise.com/specials, but I actually like when you're there, I just do that. Oh, well, there.
Okay.
And this is that too. So
yeah, and there's a download in there. There's a resource, hopefully, in there that if you have a business, you want to figure out how to use different types of courses in your business, online courses. That's a really great place to use that to map out where you can use it in your business. And then you think about what topics you need. So that'll help you figure out those topics based on your audience. Then you go get the brandable content. So you don't go through and say, oh, that looks interesting. I think I'll teach that topic. That's not going to work as well as looking at your audience and saying, okay, this is what they need most right now and what they want. Not just what they need, but what they want. Because you may think you know what they need, and that may be correct. That's what they need, but they don't know that yet until you get them there. So look at their want and then look at exactly what they need to get to that want.
Excellent. That is awesome. So if you go ahead.
Hang on one second. There's a course Sharyn agreed to give everyone a massive discount on one of her courses. I forget which one it is.
Fast cash strategies for small businesses.
Yeah, I mean, who wants fast cash? I mean, there's no.
It's strategies really. If you have a business, in order to quickly raise cash, there are a lot of different ways to raise some quick income, and also ways to free up cash you already have. So it's a course that you could, again, use yourself, depending on what position you're in right now, or if you are in coaching or consulting, that kind of field, you have some experience, you can use it to help others, either one-on-one or as a course. There are a lot of different ways. That's the beauty of this kind of content. You can use it however you want. But yeah, we did do a coupon for that, so you can get 50% off on the big one. And a bonus, actually, there's a bonus on that if you get the full one. I almost forgot that set up for people to get the challenge version of the lead magnet that's in there. So it's already set up, ready to go as a challenge, so that you can build a list or help people, and then, or even sell it at a low price, and then be able to sell the bigger course as well. And yes, people are buying. I can attest to it. People are buying, because
they are
buying my stuff and then selling.
Fast cash. That's who doesn't want that? Yeah, exactly. Sharyn, I'm thrilled that you were here, and I'm thrilled that I woke up for you.
Thank you. And I've already gone over my time, I know.
I know. I was trying to get us to land the plane. But you are definitely an overgiver, Sharyn. No, that's okay. It's just you feel like you only get to be on for like 30 minutes. Meanwhile, me and Ken, I've been gonna probably hit 30 hours. So
more power to you. I can't believe you could do that. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm tired after 30 minutes.
So I want to thank you so much. You were a wealth of knowledge. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and sharing your time with us. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And
thanks.
You can find
inviting me.
All of her goodies. There it is, right where what she said on the bottom in the text. So we're going to go on to the next person, because I think the next what she said in the text.
Yeah, that's not the link.
No, that's the it's not. There's no fast cash strategy.
No, it's contentsparks.com, and then you have a link, Ken.
Yeah. So just to keep it simple, because we can go on another 5 or 10 minutes, and we're not going to do that.
The coupon code is
it's in the opt-on, right? We're going to go there, because if we have to do that, then we're.
And the coupon is opt-on fast cash. So
that's any problem, then everybody knows how to find us, but we're going to make sure the link works right there at opportunitython.com/specials. So I want to thank you so much for all the knowledge that you've given us.
Thank you.
Again, thanks for having me on. Good to see you awake, Ken.
I stand for love. Do you?
Hey, this is Captain Lou, and I stand for love, baby. Do you? Do you?
Do you?
Do you? Yes. Do you? Do you? Do you?